Hello guys, and today we continue our favorite Russian geography lessons, and I think we should introduce special topics like the longest detonation or the most picturesque explosion. The objects we targeted tonight with inexpensive Ukrainian drones actually produced such picturesque explosions, prolonged detonations, but most importantly mean that a lot of innocent Ukrainian lives are saved. And all because the Ukrainian drones first visited Borisoglebsk, that is in Voronezh region of the Russian Federation, where they have one of the most important military airfields, full of Russian Su-34, Su-35, and arsenals of the missiles that they use to target Ukrainian civilian infrastructure. Another important object that was demilitarized is actually located more than 1,200 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border in Chuvash Republic, city Cheboksary. As you might have guessed, Chuvash Republic has a great potential to become independent after the collapse of the Kremlin regime. So let's discuss why these military objects were chosen by the Ukrainian drones and what they mean for the only working peace plan, and that is to defeat and demilitarize Russia. My name is Anna, I'm from Ukraine, I'm in Ukraine, and if you want to see the collapse of the Kremlin regime, the collapse of Putin and Putin in The Hague, or in the hell, subscribe. We will discuss that on the channel sometime really soon. And let's start with this super important target that was seriously damaged by the Ukrainian drones tonight. And the explosion there was super picturesque and even fixed by, that NASA satellites. One of the things that makes it so difficult for the Russian propaganda to hide this information from the Russian population, proving that Putin actually does not control anything, and they gave up a lot of their freedoms for the sake of that so-called control. But he does not control Russian borders, he does not control Russian airspace, and he cannot protect the strategic objects like that Borisoglebsk military airfield. It is home to Russian Su-34, Su-35, Su-30, and if we analyze the size of that explosion, you can follow me on X. I share more of war photos and videos there respecting YouTube policies here. So the link is in the description of this video, but anyway, it's very likely that some of these bombers were destroyed, and this makes the epitome of the Russian aviation destruction very, very seriously. After the spiderweb operation, when we wiped out 1/3 of their cruise missile carriers, this is a beautiful continuation. And according to the data that we possess right now from this open source sources, we have also targeted and destroyed a huge arsenal of the guided bombs that Russians kept there. And this is super important because it's not difficult to guess how otherwise these guided bombs would be used. Please compare. If you still have doubts, if you remain neutral towards Russian-Ukraine war, think about the objects that the Ukrainian defenders choose to target inside Russia and what they constantly destroy in Ukraine. In Ukraine, Russians target hospitals, schools, cultural heritage sites, even churches. And in Russia, after these years of their invasion, of their violence to our people, we still keep choosing and destroying only legitimate military objects. And this tells a lot about Ukrainians, about Ukrainian military, about Ukrainian president, and this makes me proud to be Ukrainian. So please subscribe to demonstrate your solidarity with us and share these videos if you share my opinion. This is super important in the world intoxicated with Russian lies. Another important object that was demilitarized tonight is interesting from even this geographical point of view because it is located 1,200 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, which means that Russian air defense is epic fail. And that is a very logical reason why so many Russians are genuinely worried about the safety of the strategic for the Russian economy, the Russian military objects, the fact that their government that described itself as invincible cannot protect the things they definitely want to. So, located in Cheboksary, Chuvash Republic, military plant was known as VNIIR-Progress. Or Progress, that would be in English, but in Russian, Progress. And it's a super important and, this like complex production facility for specific antennas of the Kometa type. You see, even ordinary civilians in times of war have to learn a lot of things I wish I didn't have to. There's different types of missiles or different types of sound that Russian drones produce on the streets of my own city. But anyway, this Kometa type antennas, they are super important for the evil Russian drones and the evil Russian missiles, because when they are equipped with this, they can somehow trick the Ukrainian electronic warfare. We don't have enough of the electronic warfare. We have problems with Patriot systems. We are ready to buy them. But the White House does not want to sell them to us. That's a serious problem and a very open betrayal. And I'm asking you here, our beautiful American community, please remind the White House that all Ukrainians want is to protect their homes, hospitals, and schools. We did not invade Russia. We protect our lands. We protect our children. And I think that's very correct from Christian point of view, from human point of view, from any point of view. So anyway, by destroying that plant, we paralyze the production of such antennas. And I think this is a part of a very smart strategy when Russians outnumber us in people, in weapons that they have, because China does not stop, its supply of missiles to Russia. They openly speak about the support of the Kremlin. And even when talking to Kaya Kallas, the representatives of China confirmed they won't let Russia lose. And what we see from the Ukrainian side, the White House that likes Putin more than ordinary Ukrainians, then we see, where is the coalition of the willing? I am sorry, but that's the question that everyone keeps asking in Ukrainian cities and villages. So it's super important to be creative if we want to survive. And I see that with this limited resources, we turn on our creativity, our understanding of the situation, and we target such unique production sites. Because this way, their missiles, their drones cannot escape Ukrainian electronic warfare. And perhaps a lot of missile and drone plants use these antennas from the Kometa factory that right now is paralyzed and seriously damaged. Thumbs up for that. And remember to share these videos if you share my opinion. And also check my new video on my new channel, Anna Danilchuk, and I connected here because it explains an extremely important thing about Russia and the Russian population. Why do they keep choosing people like Putin? Why do they genuinely like and support them? And I don't want it to sound arrogant, but guys, just as President Zelensky once said on the American news, here in Ukraine, unfortunately, but we do know Russian mentality way better than the Americans or Australians. And if you want to make some really smart, wise decisions in political, diplomatic sphere about Russia, you have to trust the Ukrainian experience, the Ukrainian knowledge. And if you want to know more about that, do check this video and remember to subscribe here and there. This makes me very grateful and happy. And thank you so much for buying me coffees, becoming my patrons and sponsors of the channel, helping me now work for the 2 channels that I hope help you to understand these challenging times and to protect yourselves against a lot of evil things, be it in the informational sphere or in the economic or even real, because the world does not seem like a safe place right now. Follow me on X, Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads, all the links in the description of this video. And remember that today we have the last day of -15 sale on our merch shop. The link is in the description too. There are lots of good t-shirts and caps and various summer collections that work well, also as reminders and conversation starters about Ukraine. And we need that, you know that, and I'm always grateful when you stand with Ukraine in conversations, in prayers, in, addresses to the decision makers. We have, first of all, to return our eternal partner, the United States, on the orbit of the good, of the democratic world. It's so unnatural for the White House to support the Kremlin. I'm sure you feel that and you share that opinion with me. Thank you so much for being this really kind and understandable friend. This means a lot to me personally and to all of us in Ukraine. United we stand. Slava Ukraini!